Nicosia, the only divided city in Europe.
Nicosia is located in the middle of Cyprus, where the two sides meet, with a population of 116,000.
Kamagusta was called Ghost City because it was occupied in 1974. No one stayed there. The Turkish and the Greek Cypriots left.
Kamagusta, in Greek Kamagusta, is a city on the east coast of Cyprus. Kamagusta was mostly known before the invasion for having the largest port in Cyprus.
Where's Nicosia? Is it by the sea?
It is located in the center of Cyprus, which means not by the sea.
What is so special about Nicosia?
Nicosia is the capital city of Cyprus. There, you can see many different examples of multicultural architecture.
What do we mean by saying Nicosia is a divided city?
In 1974, a part of Cyprus got occupied by the Turks. Half of Nicosia, Cyprus' capital city, is taken by the Turkish Cypriots. The other half is as it was. Greek Cypriots live there.
Where does Nicosia end?
Crossing onto the Libra Sea and using some jack barrels that these are Nicosia ports.
Why is half of Nicosia occupied by Turks?
In 1974, the Turkish government decided to occupy half of Cyprus with violence.
Where did Nicosia get her name from?
According to Greek mythology, Nicosia was a siren of the daughters of Achilles and Melophe, and its name translates as White State or City of White Gods.
What is the buffer zone and why is it in the middle of Nicosia?
Greenland, also known as the United Nations Buffer Zone,
Is the Nicosia border between the Greek Cypriot side and the occupied part of Cyprus.
Nicosia is one of the safest cities in the world, as it's under the surveillance of the European Union, the United Nations of the buffer zone.
you can easily walk around the city in both areas, north and south, and visit some shops and restaurants with traditional,
Infrastructure.
but also the flowing feeling of any other modern European city.
Before 1974, Varosha was a Turkish area of Famagusta city. Its Greek Cypriot inhabitants fled during the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974, when the city of Kamagusta came under Turkish control. It has remained abandoned ever since.
Kamagusta, in Greek Kamagusta, is a city on the east coast of Cyprus. Kamagusta was mostly known before the invasion for having the largest port in Cyprus.
The British occupied Cyprus from 1878 to 1960.
The town of Kamagusta and the old walled city are part of the Turkish Republic of Cyprus. Famous attractions of Kamagusta included the Palm Beach Hotel.
You can visit Amorphostas by signing legal documents saying that you recognize the Turkish Republic. You also have to show your passport and a negative COVID test.
Varosha and Famagusta has been unoccupied since 1974. Conflict between Greek and Turkish Cypriots left in an inaccessible military zone. The move prompted backlash from the Greek Cypriots in the south of the island, who view it as an indirect land grab.
Nicosia, the only divided city in Europe.
Nicosia is located in the middle of Cyprus, where the two sides meet, with a population of 116,000.
Nicosia is governed by Konstantinos Yorkakis, who is 54 years old and has been the mayor for 2 years. Fake government, the Turkish Republic of Cyprus was set up by the Turkish government to govern the Turkish side of Nicosia and the whole of the Turkish side of the island. It is also not a part of the European Union. Nicosia became divided due to the Greeks and Turks arguing whether Cyprus belonged to whom in 1974. So as a compromise, they divided Cyprus in half, and Nicosia found itself in both of the halves.
Even though it's larger in size, the Greek side of Nicosia has a population of around 55,000, which is less than the Turkish side. The Turkish side of Nicosia has a population of 61,000.
Even though Nicosia had its ups and downs, nowadays it is a pretty wealthy and prosperous city, with a GDP per capita over 25,000 euros. To take that into perspective, it's 10,000 euros more than the Greek GDP per capita, 15,000 euros.
But Nicosia is not only enjoyable for natives, Nicosia is also a great place for tourists. Famous landmarks of Cyprus include Aphrodite's Rock, Machaeras Monastery, Panayidou's Church, and many more.
Generally, Nicosia is a city full of visitors and tourists. It is the 40th most popular destination in the whole world. Thanks for watching!
Famagusta was called Ghost City because it was occupied in 1974. No one stayed there. The Turkish and the Greek Cypriots left. The city is no longer a ghost city as the Turkish government decided to open it.
Kamagusta is located east of Nicosia and possesses the deepest harbor of the island.
The town was known as Arsinoi after the Greek queen Arsinoi II of Egypt. In the 3rd century, Kamagusta was mentioned by the name Amogostos in the book Stadias Maris Magna.
This means hidden in the sand, and this is how Greek call it. Kamagusta is the name in English.
The Turkish army fenced off the Greek Cypriots, and Famagusta has been closed since then. Only Turkish can live there. Famagusta was conquered by the Turkish after a bitter and prolonged siege in 1570-1571. Then the British took Cyprus from 1878 to 1916. They built installations on Famagusta, which became a naval base in World War II.
The Turkish invasion of Cyprus began on July 20, 1974, 3 days after the July 15 coup, but the Turkish invaded Famagusta in August 14, 1974.
Kamagusta is a city in the Turkish side of the island. The city is also called Ghost Town because it was closed for the people since 1974. Amahostas was reopened on the 20th of July in 2020, but justice wasn't restored. Greek Cypriots weren't able to get to their properties, and this made them furious.
So what happened there? Why is the place deserted? What used to be there before it turned into a ghost town?
The entire population of Varosa evacuated the town hours before the Turkish army and the Greek Cypriots met each other on streets of Kamagusta. Those who had been there during its blooming days described Varosa as a hub for intellectual activity and art. Corroding metals, breaking walls, windows and tree roots gradually working their way through the walls are common sights. The calm and beautiful beaches have today become a nesting place for sea turtles.
The Turkish invasion of Kamagusta happened on the 14th of August. Since then, no one has ever been at the city. At the night, the people of Varosa heard bombs destroying their memories.